Hello everyone, welcome to episode 2 of Trans Week that I created here with me, Autumn Stone Faye, whatever you wish to call me. So episode 2, first episode was about me kind of feeling like a male again, and people commented some crazy stuff on that, I'll tell you that. Not really what I was saying, but good enough. Today's video is going to be something much more deep and much more serious, which is the transgender agenda. Pretty much pushing for all this transgender stuff in our society. Now, I'll just begin by saying, when I was younger, there wasn't all this transgender stuff. I mean, how could there be? Because it's so rare. It's not a common thing. It's not, a normal thing, quote. I mean, normal as in like the majority. It's a very, very small amount of people who are transgender. And it's not like a good thing to be like proud of and everything like that, because it's an ordeal. It is so struggling to go through all this stuff. It really is. So it's not some hip thing to do, It's how you feel you are on the inside. And this is where the problem comes into play, because now it's like so much more mainstream. I mean, there's TV shows all about it. There's all of these things being written about it, and you can't offend anyone who's transgender, you can't misgender them or you get fined and sued and this and that, and it's just ridiculous. It really is. And being a trans person myself, I just don't understand how this just happened like so quickly. Because when I transitioned, it wasn't like this, and then like in a few years' time, it's like just out of control. So here's kind of like where I remember kind of first hearing it. Just like I remember like when I was when I started like making my transgender videos, they were like so popular, and so I was like, why are so many people fascinated by this? I mean, it's okay to be fascinated, I guess. It's okay if there's documentaries or videos like that. I mean, I think people should be educated on it because it's a rare kind of condition. I mean, it's the same thing with any kind of other condition or disorder or some kind of problem that someone has. And that's kind of, I felt as though what society has kind of come to at this point, where it's like everything has to be transgender and LGBT. You can't say male and female anymore because that's going to offend, the transsexuals, and it is just ridiculous. Why? Why? And then it's just really, really dumb. It really is. So that's kind of one small piece of this whole transgender agenda. The other thing is, like, related to that, people don't want you to voice your opinion. As I said, that offending, that political correctness is censoring people. I mean, what is going to be next? If you can't say male and female, if you can't, like, there's something like you can't call someone like a pregnant woman. You can't do, you can't say certain things that single out the gender. Why? Why? So, and then the other thing is, because of how mainstream this is now, children are learning about it at such a young age as well. When I was a child, I didn't know anything about this. Because of how mainstream it is now, there are, children getting their hands on all these resources about transgender stuff, even before the age of 10, kids are learning about it. And then there are the worst thing is kids transitioning. And it's like, you know, if you are a child and you feel as though like you don't identify as the sex that you were born as. I mean, that's kind of how I felt, absolutely. I mean, it was definitely in my teenage years that I really felt that. I don't understand then why the need to actually medicate that. Because that is a big problem.
Welkom bij een aflevering van Een oorlog reeds verloren. Het bureau voor occulte zaken. Ik kreeg mijn horloge binnen van Q. De Q Timex. Half rood, half blauw. Dat betekent balans. Balans tussen het mannelijke en het vrouwelijke. Betekent ook balans tussen het duister en het licht. Want zoals de Indianen ons al uitleggen, die zeggen: in ieder mens leeft een witte wolf en een zwarte wolf.
And then you transition. You allow your child to transition. I mean that is one thing. It's another whole thing to prevent the puberty and to put the child on the hormones that their body is not producing. The supplement hormones that they feel is their gender. So, you know, or like you have transgender children online or TV shows like that Jazz Girl, you know, is such a big one. How many kids watch her and thinks, wow, she's amazing, I wish I could be like her, and then they're like, let me transition. You know, I'm not saying everyone's like that, but I am very, very against the children transitioning and getting on these hormones. I just don't get it at all, because you're performing an action that, number one, the parents are making. The parents are making the decision, essentially, because the child is under the age of 18. They cannot legally make the decision. Yet the parents aren't really making the decision. It's the child making the decision, and the parents just kind of okay that. And let me tell you this. What child can make a decision that's going to alter the rest of their life like that? There is no child that can do that. You know, if a child cannot make other important decisions, like, are you going to let your child make financial decisions for you? Are you going to let your child make, you know, other decisions with their body that they may want now, and then later in life realize that they shouldn't have done that when they kind of mature? Especially before puberty. You know, children are immature. You don't know what you really want until like your mid-20s. You know, it's prior to that, you can be very impulsive. And with children, there is no thought of future. There really isn't, because that part of the brain hasn't fully developed yet. If you ask a child, you know, to really think about their decisions and, you know, not be impulsive and to think before they act, they are incapable of, because their brain hasn't formed that part to be able to do that. So how then can parents allow their children to be taking these hormones? So it's kind of pushing all this whole agenda, and I really do think that a lot of the parents are to blame for this, because here's the thing. If you allow your child to go online and look up whatever without any parental guidance, without explaining to them what they're seeing, what they're reading about, what they're hearing, then they're going to form their own conclusions. And here's kind of like an off-topic example, like how many children are unsupervised on the internet, watching these like gaming YouTube channels. I mean, there are several popular gaming YouTube channels. And when you watch their content, it's not made for children. Yet there's children who know about them, who love them, and they, say all this foul language. They make these inappropriate jokes that only adults can really understand. And then it's like more and more kids, younger and younger, are learning these things. They are maturing faster and faster. They're going through puberty quicker and quicker. And it is so disturbing to see that, because that's definitely not how I was.
En Willem Engel, een van de mensen die wij achter de schermen steunen, de mensen die in strijd zijn tegen die absurde lockdown, die heeft in de rechtszaak die hij aan het voeren is tegen het RIVM ineens een andere...
I think that is but one part of this whole transgender agenda, because you're doing that. Not to mention as well, just all of the crap, in our diet, in our food, in our water, and just, again, the mother. If you're going to put toxins in your body when you're pregnant with your child, then that's going to affect them. Depending on what you feed your child when they're growing up, what they eat, what they drink, it's like the United States, it's not, a very healthy country. I mean, there's plenty of people who are very unhealthy. And when you're, eating all this crap and all these hormones in these foods, and you're, like, I remember many years ago I heard about plastic water bottles. It's like a hormone concoction, because one of the plastics that makes it is like an estrogen mimicker. And when you give that to a child, it's one thing to give it to yourself because you're a fully grown adult. Your bodies are much bigger. You've gone through puberty. You've done all that. But when you give it to a child who's so young, it's like it's gonna mess a bunch of stuff up with their hormones. So there's that, and same with like other estrogen-like substances. Like soy is a very big estrogen-like substance. I'm not going to sit here and say that a soy is bad. I mean, I enjoy soy. I eat soy, but I am an adult. I've gone through the multiple puberties from my transition.